All right, you guys, welcome back to Light It Up Podcast. If you're new to this channel and if you want to know everything about making money in real estate, selling, sales skills, building your business, or investing, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know what makes our great guests so successful.
Yep. And we get messages and DMs from people like you every single day. So whether you're in the business looking to grow, reach out, shoot us a DM or a text. Happy to help.
All right. Today we have a special guest, Lana Rodriguez. Thank you so much, Lana, for being here.
I'm so honored, gentlemen. Let's get this rolling.
Awesome. All right, let's roll. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the business and where you are today?
All right, good question. Long story short, originally from the country of Latvia. You know, I used to make a joke, I'm from Mother Russia, but for political reasons, we no longer do that. We just go straight to the point. Small country, been in America for the last 18 years, true immigrant story from rags to riches. And I have been selling real estate in Colorado since 2014. And how did we end up in Colorado? My husband was active duty military and we just PCS. Prior to that, I used to work in retail and pretty much had like about 10 years of sales experience, but never ever I dreamed of becoming a realtor. And there's also a little bit of a story behind that.
Nice. Looking to dig into that.
All right, we'll start with the lightning round where we're going to hit you with some questions just to get to know you a little bit better here. So, Lana, tell us, what's something you will never do again?
What I will never do again, I will never start growing a team without know what the heck I'm doing. And this is for all our new agents who are just getting in a business or the solo producers who are maybe thinking of scaling to the team. Just start slow. Do not add licensed agents as your first hire. You start with an assistant, you start with an admin, and then you scale into possibly a licensed assistant, showing partner, and only then you start bringing in agents. Unfortunately, I did it upside down and it was a big hot mess. So I will never ever do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We both know exactly.
I could tell you some stories about that too. I got you. I hear you.
It hurts when you say it. All right. What are the 3 biggest turning points in your life? Doesn't have to be 3.
About like personal or work related?
Whatever stands out to you the most.
Ooh, well, since it's a real estate podcast, let's just talk about business. I know there's a lot of friends who are part of Tom Ferry organization. You just guys shared with me you're part of Mike Ferry. And one of the first turning points in my career was joining Buffini. And how did it all happen? I joined Remax. Remax was a top brokerage in town. And that's what I thought it was going to be a good move when I was a brand new agent. And they had a Buffini poster on the wall. I'm like, who is this guy? What does he do? He was like, well, it's a family immigrant coach. And he preaches this and this. And when I was brand new and had no idea how to even conduct my real estate business or I had any plans ahead, being plugged into that referral community was life-changing for me. Okay, so that was number one. I mean, I'm not going to talk about Buffini. I'm sure some of you know what he preaches, calls, notes, and pop buys, but it was number one. Number 2, we're all salespeople on this call. As a salesperson, it's your role and responsibility to identify your selling style. And that's not being talked enough in our industry. And see, for me, my selling style, it's not cold calling, it's not door knocking. Now, don't get me wrong, I have tried that because as a brand new agent, you freaking try everything and see what works, what not. But as you guys can see, I do have an accent. And every time up to this point, when I get on the phone with somebody, man, I kind of start losing that sale. There's no direct report, my Eastern European accent comes out and then I sound like foreign, what I'm talking about. So very early on, I realized that face-to-face is going to be the way I'm going to be doing business in real estate. All right. Now, let me give you an example. For example, our preferred lender, Phil, in Colorado Springs, the guy's a machine if you get him on the phone. He's like a glorified, aka loan officer. But when you get him with somebody in person, he becomes super nervous and start getting these red spots on his face. So Phil's style is being on the phone, and that's where we keep him at. For me, very early on, I started attempting to schedule as many in-person appointments as possible, and 90% conversion rate. only because like when somebody's sitting in front of you, you can read their body language, you can see how they respond, and you can overcome objections very, very fast. And of course, number three. Let's see. I guess I was gonna be getting into the business with my husband. Now, it didn't start like that. Neither was a goal. Brian was still active duty, and United States military told us, like, we're gonna move us, PCSs. And Brian's like, what should we do? Can you recreate whatever you recreated here somewhere else? And I said, absolutely not. So we made a decision for him to get out of the military and later on join forces. And we can touch on this. But for somebody who's listening to this podcast right now and who's working with a husband or wife, I mean, it's not all unicorns and roses. There's pros, there's cons, but I'm gonna tell you what, no one ever will have your back as much as your spouse in the real estate industry.
Yeah, well said.
Can you go in a little bit more with that? What kind of examples has he had your back in, like that you feel like a spouse would have over like a normal person?
Well, pretty much. So when he came into our organization, he was a Army officer, and I was already had going on team for 3 years. It was a lot of adjustment period, and there was because I was kind of the boss. I'm still the boss. Just don't tell him that. And not only I had to teach him the ropes and explain him how everything is, yet towards the end of the day, he would understood and he would help me and support me in anything I needed. Where if you take like another agent on your team or assistant, they'd be like, oh, well, I don't think I can do this. It's kind of late. No, because like, remember, you're part of the same household. You're kind of running for the same team.
Yeah.
Things like this. And also when there's hard days in real estate, it's very good to come home to somebody and just explain, hey, this is what's going on. And he understands.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, gentlemen, but I'm sure you have significant others who may or may not be in real estate. And sometimes like you come home, you exhaust and they're like, hey, give me some attention. What's up? And you're like, dude, I'm so freaking tired. And he would understand that. And I think that goes a long way, especially if you're committed building business that gives back in many, many ways.
Yeah. There's that turn off time that you need in this business. After talking to so many people, you just want to be like,
you don't want to talk to people.
Yeah, you're like, leave me alone for like 5 hours. I just need to shut off.
When your goal is to talk all day, or that's what it ends up being anyway, whether it's to agents or to other to prospective clients, it's exhausting to come home and have to talk more. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, I'm torn here. What's one of your pet peeves?
What does a pet peeve mean?
Something that you hate.
I love
that bothers you whenever it happens. Like
what's
chewing with your mouth open. It's my pet peeve.
Well, I'll tell you what. The real estate is one of the most cutthroat industries we're in, but it's also the most rewarding. And I guess my pet peeve is when the top producing agents look at the like newer or no-name agents like they're shit. Yeah. I'm sorry, am I allowed to cuss here?
Oh yeah.
We can just cut it out. I think there's no need for that. And I was the bottom agent at some point, because when I would join the RE/MAX, it was the top producers. I have so many freaking stories where people would like look me up and down. Oh, this little white girl, this little girl, she probably doesn't know shit about real estate. And yeah, it was like that for 1 year. But then when I started making a name for myself in the city, people they look at you a little different, but there is no need for that. And I wish there would be a little bit less of that in our industry. Like the egos need to come down a little bit. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not.
100%.
There's a difference though.
There's no business with more ego than this.
Yeah, but I will say this much. You can't tolerate stupid, but you can tolerate not knowing, right? So like if someone was like didn't know how something was going, you can be like, oh no, but this is how you do it. But if someone is stupid and they like take your keys from the lockbox and you're like, you mother effer.
Incompetence.
Well, incompetence is like incompetence is technically ignorance. Ignorance is okay because you didn't know, but stupid is knowing and still doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like that part of it not okay. If you didn't know, we'll show you, but then just don't be stupid and do it anyway. Right.
Yeah.
The wrong way. You said a lot.
We went into Kiro's pet peeves there.
No, it's. Oh my God, especially recently, it's been insane dealing with certain people will take keys and go away. I'm like, hey, by the way, the keys disappeared after your showing. Like, do you mind driving there now and dropping the keys off?
Or they'll be like, I'll bring them back in 2 days.
Yeah. One lady, I told her the tenant isn't cooperating for this timeline. She's like, okay, we're going to schedule a showing for that timeline. I'm like, read the previous message. She's like, I don't get it. Did you not read mine? I'm like, all right, this is conversation's over. There's certain levels that are there. And one thing that you said that I just want to highlight on very quickly is identifying your sales
style.
Your sales style.
I think that's a good segue.
Yeah, it's super important because not everybody is going to match with the Mike Ferries, with the Toms, with the Buffinis, right? And each person finds their own kind of tribe, and then that becomes the vibe that they share with the people around them.
And what Lana said was that she found out early on, maybe because of your accent, that you were better in person, right? Because you could create more rapport in person, or at least over the phone or in person, rather than having to call somebody cold or door knocking or anything like that. So why don't you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah. Now, how did it all start? Once again, as a brand new realtor, don't be like, you need to start thinking, what's going to be my selling style? And all it is just taking something you're really, really good at and just kind of sticking to it and maybe adapting it to real estate sales. For me, look, I was in customer service since I was like 14. In Mother Russia, you can illegally work since you are like a child. Just kidding. Please don't put it in the podcast. But in real estate, like you're brand new, and you kind of have to try to do everything. To try, like how it works. How does it make you feel? Like if John goes, door knocks, I'm sure it may be great. He may be like, yeah, this is gonna be my thing. I'll be like, I fucking hate it.
Right.
So for me, I did that. And I was like, never ever again, I'm gonna have a door slammed in my face, because that's exactly what happened. Or cold calling, like, we have ISAs for that now. And thank God. But back 8 years ago, I didn't know what ISA was. But I just took my superpowers, because all of us have some kind of superpower. For me, it's just like I'm very relatable. I'm a bit of a relationship expert. My language of love is gifts. I'm a very loving person. I'm not bitchy. I'm super kind. And this is what you see, what you get. You're going to get it in real life. You're going to get it on camera. And I'm like, well, why do I have to be somebody? Like, what if I just take this and apply this to real estate sales? And that's exactly what I did. Like, I'll give you an example. My first buyer's appointment, my listing appointment, we're in the RE/MAX office with a slide deck of like 70 pages. And I did not know what I was doing because my RE/MAX mentors were not available at that time. But at the end, they loved me because I was very humble, kind, and I showed them that I care. That brings my favorite quote, and it goes like this: people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
And that particular quote got me through many, many ups and downs and kind of helped me build my business where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I love that. So you identifying your personal style, you go on your first appointment, you're like, oh, wow. Even the company that I'm with, which was, they were big at that time, or that was the company to go to, they didn't give you anything. So you realized that you were on your own either way. And you have to rely on your own personal power, which is being relatable with the people in front of you and being able to connect with them on that level. So at that moment, I'm assuming that's when you're like, oh, I could do this on my own almost. It's like they bought into me, not into the company. Is that right?
Great question. Yeah. Another thing what I was doing, and I suggest for anyone who's like a brand new agent on this call, on this Zoom, start watching what other people are doing. Nothing wrong with that. Because, there's, what is it called? R&D, rip off and duplicate.
Yeah.
I mean, we all do that. Or I also like to call it copy greatness. So very early on, when I was brand new to Colorado and I got my real estate license, I friended all the local pros because my reach was not that big. I did not know any like outside of the industry professionals. But I friended all the local pros and just started seeing what they're doing. Are they doing closing gifts? For God's sake, we bought a third property here, Brian and I, my husband and I, and our realtor even didn't show up to closing. Neither we get any closing gift. I'm like, well, this is like so mind-blowing to me. So if I can implement just these little systems, because look, you're buying a freaking house. For somebody, it's the first and last biggest investment of their lifetime. And you're not going to even give them a gift? You just made shitload of money of this couple. Come on now. So just if you start watching your competition, like close proximity, far proximity, you will see and you will be able to pick up and adopt some things to implement in your business. If you want to succeed, if you want to just slide by, you don't have to do that. You can just like rely on Zillow leads. Just kidding. Nothing wrong with Zillow leads, but
So what are some ways for people that are, let's just say newer people in the business to get referral business from some of their, like let's just say it's your first year in the business, you've closed 1 or 2, maybe 3 deals. How do you get some referral business from those 3 people or maybe other people in your sphere? What are some ways that you would suggest?
Oh, this is my favorite question. This happens to be my specialty, John. Thank you.
Trying to lay them up for you.
I like it. 2 things. Don't be a basic agent. Because have you guys heard of BAS, Basic Agent Syndrome? Yeah, I know. Me and my husband, we made this up. And there's also don't be a secret agent.
Right.
The problem with our industry, and no matter how much I love fellow real estate professionals, after the transaction, 50% of the agents go cricket. They disappear. And for all our audience listening, I challenge you to do this exercise. When you are in like a social setting, non-real estate social setting, and you're the only real estate professional, meet somebody new, do a small talk, ask them, hey, where are you from? Blah, 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 blah. Where do you live? Oh, this is awesome. Oh, by the way, who is your realtor? And see what they will answer. 50% of the people don't remember the realtor's name.
Yep.
What? And that's why it's so easy for somebody like myself to come in and welcome everybody to my client community, where we're the real estate team that does not go away. As a matter of fact, we're going to be inviting you to client events. We're going to be sending you market updates. It's not like a big cloud market because everybody does that. We're going to be sending you mailers. We're going to be recognizing your birthday, special occasions, and I'm going to be sending you soup when you're sick. Now, when you start doing that, even on a small scale, even if you have like 2, 3, 5 people or like 500 families like myself, you're going to start doing things like your competition is not doing, and it's going to bring you results. It's simple. Everything that because I have my like little Zoom about referral-based business model, and I give everybody up front. I was like, check this out. It's going to be super cheesy, super basic, but half of you are not doing what I'm going to be telling you. And it's always the case. Even like something small, like organizing your database. I always start my presentation with saying, let's go back to basics. And that's meaning organize all your people. Either it's like Chime, follow-up boss, but just once a year, sit down with your assistant or your ops manager and audit all your people. Make sure people who bought and sold with you, are they still with you? Have they wandered off? Have they moved? Have they used somebody else? It's very healthy to do that when you do that. And then try to organize all your peoples into A, B, and C, and D, and you'll be surprised how many people don't even know that concept. Well, A are your raving fans. Anyone who you can pop by anytime, and they'll be happy to see you. B are people who like know you and like and trust you. C's are your acquaintances. You still have to get them to be an A level. And then D's are delete. Don't be freaking friends with Nancy, whose husband is a realtor, because she's going to send you 0 business.
No, that's good.
Nancy.
Yeah.
Nancy.
The one thing that you said as a pivotal point in your life is, getting into the Buffini network. It sounds like, Buffini, we don't know much about him other than that he helps people get referrals and just, get within the community and stuff like that. Is that where that came from? What did you learn from Buffini overall? Am I saying his name right?
Buffini.
Yeah. So what I learned from Buffini is, like, Brian is like, I don't know if you ever saw him live, but he is complete opposite from Tom Ferry. And Tom Ferry is a very charismatic, very dynamic guy. There's some kind of calmness and kindness about Brian. And he's like, you just disturb your people, show them that you care. And I'm like, done. Where do I sign? This just sounds perfect. And then how are you going to be keeping in touch? Because like Tom will straight up tell you, like, if you need to sign for Zillow or not, where Brian is like, no, we don't pay for leads. There's going to be certain steps you're going to be doing for your client interactions, like writing notes, calling them. And I'm not calling them. So I'm going to be either probably sliding into my client DMs or texting them. And that's okay, as long as you make a point of contact. And then the big aha from Brian Buffini Systems was the client events. Because believe it or not, gentlemen, from the first, second year of business, when I was running and gunning as a solo producer, and just a little side note that on my second year of business, I did 119 transactions as a solo producer with a part-time TC. And the second year we started a team, 119.
That's great.
Yeah, second year in Colorado, second year in business.
Especially if it's all referral.
Yeah.
All referral, yeah.
So what are some ways that we can ask I'm sorry, keep going.
Yeah, go ahead.
John got excited. He was like, how do I take the referral business? You have a life with the referral business? No. All right, continue. Sorry.
Well, I was going to bring up how the client event concept came through.
Tell us.
So I was doing a lot, 119 transactions as a sole producer with a newborn at home. It's a lot. I was borderline exhausted and I had to shift some things. I was not going to stop doing things that I was doing for my clients. And back then I was doing pop buys, all kind of little things. And I was like, what if I do a client event where people come to me instead of me like driving for 3 days straight, door to door? Hey, happy Thanksgiving. Here's a pot. What if they come to me? And I'm never going to forget. It was this little Brazilian joint here in town, nothing like Fogo de Chao or Texas de Brazil. And we rented out a small room of 40 people. And the people came. I greeted everybody. We had a quality time. And they left. And I was like, they are happy. They're fed. I got to interact with everybody. This is genius. So we took that concept and we blew it up. As simple as that. Now, our audience, there's probably somebody who's already hosting client events on a high level. We took that concept and we just made it, because if you're going to interview with another top team leader, and you gentlemen, you both are top producing team leaders. If I'm going to ask you, you probably each have this one thing that's like, is it for your team? For a lot of people, it's Zillow. For somebody, it's like video marketing or YouTube channel. Or for us, it's our client events. Because we were on a good year, because right now this is a shifted year, but on a good year, like 2021, we had like 7-8 big client events. It's a lot.
Wow.
And like for somebody like, whoa, how much does it cost you? Is this crazy? I'm like, yes. But the only reason why we do that, yes, number one, to give back to our client community, because I want everybody happy. But number two, I want them to be constantly thinking of me and my team anytime where real estate comes up. And there was a reason why we do that, because there are some industry friends who do like one event a year, once or twice. But like us realtors, we get bombarded all the time. So our clients get bombarded all the time too. They're getting harassed by Zillow, virtual assistants. Somebody is farming their neighborhood, somebody door knocking. So you, as a real estate professional, you have to decide what's going to be your how are you going to keep in touch with your clients, not in a sales way, in a sincere way, that they're going to keep coming back to you. And that's why client event appreciation system works great for us.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Incredible.
The one thing it's extremely valuable in this business, and unfortunately we learned it, or I learned it later on, your book of business is an actual tangible asset in a way, right? And the goal is to nurture that business. You incorporate paid sources when you want to scale and grow bigger, when you don't have many in there and you want to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. The rule of thumb that we were always taught is that 4 touches through calls, 4 mail pieces should convert 10% of your database. Have you measured what that's like for you?
Are you talking about like a conversion rate?
So like
How
your
much would
database
you-
size versus touches and conversion from there. So like if you have 1,000 people in your database.
Before you said, I think you have 500 people in your database, right?
Well, no, we have more, but we have 500 active families who are living in town who did business with us.
Wow. Okay. So what we were always taught was like, hey, if your database is 500 people, right? And I know yours is bigger, 10% of that should give you business this year. So you can expect that if you have 500 people in your database, you could get 50 deals from your database this year.
Yeah.
If you're doing the right activities. Have you put any like sort of
metric on yours to see what your database is converting at with the client events?
Yeah, great question. We haven't, full transparency, we haven't, but keep in mind that opportunity of being constantly omnipresent within our client community, like it pays back.
Yeah.
It's hard to monitor because it's not like we have a time to sit down and it's like, okay, let's start tracking your referrals. Who gets referral? But it's like it's an ongoing machine. Even when we greet people at the door, I'm ultimately the greeter. I'm the always first person people come when they see. I'm the first person they see, and I'm the last person they see. And then I casually engage into conversations. Hey, this is so awesome. Hey, is there anything we can do for you or anyone you know? So we start pulling those referrals, right? And then typically, the one person who had an amazing time with our team, it's probably going to be 30 to 90 days when they're going to refer us a friend, because it's a statistic. Anyone you know right now, if it's a client, past client, or anyone even at the Starbucks, they're going to be talking to one person within the next 90 days who's going to want to buy or sell a house. Now, our goal is to make sure they buy or sell a house with us. That's all I want. And client community is probably like, I want to say 60-70% of our business. And it's a sphere. That's what I call it, a sphere, because it's our past, present, future clients, also some relationships like friends in town, also another couple of niches that we have developed over time. I get a lot of agent-to-agent referral business. So hopefully you amazing agents listening to me on this podcast, you will remember me before Colorado Springs referral opportunities. Because if you send them, I will take care of them, I promise. My husband, when he got out of the active duty military, it was a big transition year for him because he's been active duty for 12 years. And he actually developed another niche out of his military connections, his school and everything. Well, he pulls military referrals there. So you kind of have to identify like what's going to be your box.
Yeah.
Like hopefully you gentlemen, you're part of Mike Ferry organization, and hopefully that's your box to network and also become real estate professionals for referral opportunities in your state, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And as you're growing your social media presence, you're realizing that you can scale the agent to agent referrals more than anything else, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and you're
And
throwing an event soon as well, right?
Yeah, and that comes to mind that don't be a secret agent. Okay, like you guys, I don't know how we're connected, but I'm just super grateful to be here. But hopefully, maybe you saw me on some kind of social platform,
Instagram.
and you're like,
Instagram.
Instagram. Awesome, thank you. See, so that consistent. I'm still trying to be consistent there. That presence pays off. So don't be a secret agent. Right now, the best way to be discovered by a future consumer or a great podcast opportunity like this one, or even like be highlighted on some kind of, you know, media outlook, like be present and don't put up stupid crap. I'm going to tell my favorite joke. Your real estate profile online should not look like OnlyFans. I said it. When I said it in a big room, people laugh because you'll be surprised. There's
So
so
no
many agents
bikini
who-
pics.
No bikini pics. Please.
Take them off, John.
Not
Take
if
them
you're
all
trying to
down.
sell a house. You're trying to sell something else. Because you'll be surprised how many like young real estate professional gals, they gotta get into the industry, and I'm like, no, we're gonna fix it up. Just put like a little suit, let's cover a little bit, because you have to think, you want to sell a house, you want to work with a first-time home buyer who's maybe newly engaged, maybe they're having a kid. That wife is gonna go on that online platform to check you out before they're gonna make an attempt to contact you. And if they don't see what they like, you are not gonna get a call back.
That's exactly
Simple
right.
as that.
Yeah.
Is how it is. Because you guys check me out online. You're like, Lana is decent. Lana is it looks like a funny, classy gal. Haha. I do the same thing. Anyone, I check you both out. You guys do a good thing. I wanted to be part of this. A new agent comes to me immediately. Let me see their Instagram. Let me see your Facebook. And then I'm going to decide if you want to move forward.
Yeah.
Tells
Interestingly
you a
enough,
lot.
yeah, we were at an event yesterday where one of the agents that was hosting it, she's a very good friend of ours. And we were talking, we were, just joking around. And then she was telling me, she's like, you guys are lucky. I'm like, why is that? She's like, for women, it's different. She's like, I have to dumb myself down sometimes when I'm meeting a couple because sometimes I don't want the wife to feel too intimidated. And it's like certain situations, she's like, I have to level up. If I know the lady might be like one of those like really, really pretty ladies, I'll go in there with no makeup just so that she can feel a little bit more important and I'm not outshining her. I'm like, damn.
I never even thought about that.
I never thought about it either. And it's like, we are
I just wear
lucky
the
in this
makeup all
area.
the time.
But it's important, but definitely the way that you're being perceived, people will take it as that's truly how you are. So if you're showing bikini pictures and it's just, kind of provocative, then that's, your presence is going to be taken as that's who you are and you're selling something else other than real estate. So
There's so many people that do this part-time that, if you're fully focused on building your real estate business, you're going to take that approach. But if you're sort of just, doing bottle service on during the weekend and trying to sell, doing a couple high-end rentals in Miami, I'm not singling anybody out, am I? During the week, then, you're going to have a mixed profile, right? But it's super important. I know, when I was looking to hire an architect, I think I've told this story before, for my house, one of the first things that I did was go online and look for the architect's profile. I'm like, I want to see the other things that they've designed. I want to see what else they've built. And I couldn't find anything. I was like, well, this guy has no presence. And then a light went on in my head. I'm like, oh my God, I need to have way more of an online presence because as soon as somebody's considering hiring me, what are they going to do? They're going to look you up.
yeah,
And they're going to look you up at the reviews. They're going to look at the pictures. They're going to judge you. It's unfortunate, but it's what happens.
Yeah.
So what are they judging you on? And are you putting out what you want to be perceived?
yeah, that's a good point. Lana,
Well
for you, hearing what you're doing for your own clients and now that you're getting referrals from agents, what are you going to be doing to nurture that agent database?
Nurturing my agent database. So all the growth with the agent relationships was organic. And few things that I did that I want to share with our audience, because some of our audience, I know they're not doing that. Put yourself in the rooms Even if you're not ready, and if you have no money, if you just started, try to find a way to put yourself in rooms with the bigger players. And that's what I did. I remember which conference? I think it was like one of the local conferences here in Colorado. I even had to buy myself a ticket with my own savings because my husband's like, you're not going there. There's nothing for you to do. Go prospect. I'm like, no, I'm going to be in that room. Because when you put yourself in rooms like this, not only you grow and learn and inspire, because all you just need to do top 3 ideas to take it back home and implement.
Yep.
But you get a chance to like meet the hosts, meet the speakers, just be close proximity, and proximity is power. I think Tony Robbins said that, or somebody. So start doing that. And then you start building this relationship with agents, because there's agents who is going to stand out. So it's going to be a way to stand out. For me, I never had a good social media presence on Instagram till about a year ago, 2 years ago. I actually got into TikTok before I got into Instagram. For me, my biggest tool was Facebook, and I would friend a lot of Facebook friends, but I would attend as many events as possible. Even now, if I can have just clear my schedule, I'll be probably going to event once a month. It's hard. It's hard when you have 2 little kids and you still have business. But meeting these particular people at these events, because all you have to do is just make an introduction and you come up to them. Hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. Would love to connect with you. And another little tool that I discovered, if you want to connect with somebody powerful and if they're open to it, like ask them, let's go ahead and connect on Instagram. They're like, sure. So you make sure they open their Instagram and you follow yourself on their Instagram, and then you follow back. And then there's immediately that connection.
I love it.
Immediately that connection.
That's like a Mother Russia, like intense.
What?
It's an aggressive approach. I like it.
It is, but it works.
It's an aggressive approach, but sometimes we're going to do that.
Yeah.
I actually did it. Well, I'll tell you who I did it with Sharon Srivatsa. I've been a close person to Sharon for the longest time. And
He's
I'm like,
CEO of Real, right?
He's the president of Real right now. Yeah. But it was way before that. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. We were at the same mastermind. I was like, how do I get to follow him? This guy is a machine. He's super active. And that's what I did. I was like, hey, Sharon, let's connect on Instagram. He's like, yeah, for sure, Lana. I was like, let me go ahead and find myself in your phone. And it worked perfectly. This is one of the ways, but connect with the social media pros, be a hype person behind their content. Don't be just like, oh, this is great. They're just swiping or whatever you're doing on Instagram. Support, share their reels, because if you're going to share the reel and tag them, hey, Ed, great job. Ed is going to like, oh, I don't know this Lana chick. She just shared my content. Let me check her out.
Yep.
So there's so many ways to build relationships online. Just don't be a creeper. Don't be a lurker. Just do it in a very nice, classy way.
You hear that, buddy?
Taking notes. No, that's
That's
very
the whole
important,
reason
too.
we started this podcast. Proximity.
If you're listening to this, we're wearing 2 hoodies and it says proximity across the chest.
No way.
Yeah, that's
Okay. Dude.
Brand new, fresh
See?
off the print. No, but that's exactly why we started this podcast, for proximity to other people and ways to, we started it at first to just challenge ourselves to have high
high-level
conversations with, people doing what we want to do at a high level conversations with people at a high level.
Yeah.
And, we just challenged ourselves to do it every week. And now we've been putting out 2 episodes and it's amazing the amount of people you can bring into your network when, the goal is to provide value to each other. So.
Yeah. And what they say, network is your net worth.
Yeah.
100%.
It's absolutely true.
Awesome.
How many kids do you have right now?
I have 2.
2. So let's say you had to give your kids one piece of advice, and in 100 years from now, you're on your deathbed. What's that one piece of advice that you would give to your kids to be successful?
Ooh. Well, let me see. It's a good one. It's a good one. Kids, it's a dear topic to my heart. At first I was gonna say buy real estate early on, but they're gonna know that because they're part of real estate family now, and they see me and the dad grind. But I'm probably gonna say focus on relationships. And I know I don't mean to sound like cheesy and cliche, Alana. The relationships can open the doors that your degrees won't. Simple as that. Full transparency, I don't have a degree. I have an unfinished degree that I probably could have finished. And my husband, he has actually masters in real estate. I'm like, is this even a thing? A master's in real estate?
I have one too. Yeah.
Like you got
You
played.
really?
It was 2 weeks.
I'm using it every day.
But my hustle and my aspirations to succeed in America did not demote me by not having a degree, And out of 1,500 families that we served, there was only one client who interviewed and who asked, what kind of degree do I have?
Yeah.
And I said, I don't have one. I mean, it is what it is. You get what you see. And we didn't get that client primarily because she went with somebody older who was selling in her neighborhood. But she did ask. And I was like, I don't have a degree, to be honest, but I have proven sales records in my city and blah, 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 blah. But otherwise, focus on relationships, right? Building relationships. And look, you don't have to be a people pleaser or a kiss ass. You can do it in so many different ways. You can do it in a classy way. Like you, gentlemen, you are hosting this amazing podcast for what? For building relationships, right? And now we're going to have this rapport. We're going to have a close proximity to each other. And maybe we'll even extend referral opportunities. So I'm going to tell my kids, focus on relationships. Discover the way. How are you going to do it? Shit, you can just send out gifts. Send out like gift boxes to everyone you know. And that's all you do, just once a year. And it's going to pay forward.
Yeah, no, I love that. There was a recent study done, or it's actually the longest standing study that's being done right now by Harvard. I think it is Harvard, right? And they found the key to living a long life is one thing, and that's relationships and the quality of the relationships that you have. That will dictate, that's the thing that's the most common in the people who live the longest, which is pretty cool. And speaking of things that are pretty cool, you have something that's exciting that's coming up very soon.
An event in September. We wanted to give you a chance to plug that event.
Oh, thank you, friends. Yeah, we are hosting our second real estate conference called Elevate. And for some of you friends who have ever organized a real estate event or hosted any event of any caliber, it's not easy. It looks very glorified from the outside perspective, but like filling the seats, organizing the speakers, picking up the tab, because they ain't done shit for free. But it's very heartwarming. Jeez, I can't even talk. Heartwarming. And the reason why we did that is because I pulled the trigger. I made a move from Keller Williams to Real Broker last August. And of course, heads were like, oh, she's hosting the event. She's probably going to recruit at that. Bullshit. There was no recruiting. And I wanted to do it for the longest time. As a matter of fact, I would come to my Keller Williams peeps, regional and local. I was like, let's do something. Like, I have this great idea. Let's cheer shit up. They're like, no. I'm like, no is a no. One no is enough for me. So I knew that after I parted ways, I wanted to do something for the industry. We have 5,000 professionals in Colorado Springs area, and no one ever done event of this caliber. So we're doing it for second year. Hopefully people show up. It's going to be a great time.
Awesome. Well, we'll make sure that we link the event below. It's on Eventbrite. You can register on Eventbrite.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, Lana, if somebody wants to reach out to you and connect with you, what's the best way for them to do so?
Yeah, please slide into my Instagram DMs. I check them regularly because actually, friends, if you're not checking your hidden or unhidden DMs on Instagram regularly, you're missing out on an opportunity, because opportunities, and also there's some spammers. What happened to me lately? Somebody's like, hey, Lana, we want to offer you this promotion. All these promoters get into your DMs and they didn't reply. And then they gifted me like free followers. And I was like, shit, did I just get hacked? Because I got like these random, probably bot followers. And I should have just immediately checked my DMs, blocked this person. So check your hidden Instagram DMs. If you contact me, I promise I'll check. And friends, if you have any more questions, close proximity to me about client events, client opportunities, pros and cons of running a team or going solo, I'm always available.
Awesome.
Talking about hidden DMs, I actually had a DM that I saw the other day.
Did you get that 30,000 Bitcoin I sent you?
No. Did you get it? No, I got one lady. She was like an astrologist. She's like, oh, your things are very interesting from your face. I could see this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh God. I didn't sleep for like that night I didn't sleep when I read it. She's like, we should connect because there's some concerning issues that I really want to go over with you. I'm like, man, this has to be a scammer. Hopefully it's not real. And I was like, all right, she touched the soft spot. Lana, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for
your time.
Gentlemen, thank you so much, and truly honored. You have a fan now. You have a fan right now in Colorado Springs. I'll be cheering you on, listening to and subscribing to the podcast. And thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
We look forward to seeing you blow up even bigger, and hopefully the event goes off as a hit as you want to. And we'll definitely add that link below as well. So if there's anything we can do for you, let us know.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much.